Well, peace and blessing from God our Father and the Lord Jesus, who is our Christ. Listen, before I get into anything, let me wish all of the fathers today happy Father's Day. Father's Day is literally what prompted me to come on today and to give you this message right here. While I'm a father of four, spiritual father to many, admittedly, I've not done it right all the time. And even in this particular moment, I'm still striving to be the best father I can be to my adult children and to my grandchildren now, and even to my spiritual children. And one of the things that I got a chance to reflect on is a paradigm that changed in my life. And that paradigm is what prompted me to release this particular message. So if you can, just hang out with me for just a couple of minutes. In fatherhood, we've been taught fatherhood culturally as fathers, that our job is to provide. Provision is what we've been taught in fatherhood. Make sure you take care of your children, make care of your responsibilities, make sure to care for the woman and your wife, and right. So it was always provision. Get you a job and make sure that you, right. So we were taught provision. And because we were taught provision, not to say that provision is a bad thing, but just hang out with me for a second. But because we've been taught provision, provision also came with a level of ambition as well, which means if I want to provide the best for them, that means that I also have to be ambitious in whatever it is that I'm doing, right? So ambition drives my ability for provision. So you spend an inordinate amount of time making sure that you're working overtime, or that you're on the road preaching, and you're working on your books, and you're in school, right? You're doing all of these things, right, with the fuel of ambition towards provision. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But in our ambition, I think that we forgot our assignment. In our ambition, in our drive, in our ambition for provision, we forgot the purposeful assignment. And let me admit, I too forgot the assignment in the midst of my ambition and trying to be this great preacher and this great teacher and this great pastor and this great leader, this responsible, career-minded individual. In all of my ambition towards provision, I forgot my initial assignment. I got a chance to look at the fact that physiologically, that I learned what my first assignment was. It was definition. It wasn't ambition towards provision. It was definition. Physiologically, every man, when you release into a woman, you release into her definition. It's a man's genes that actually determines or defines the sexuality of the child. You give them the first context of definition. You give them the context of their capacity for life. You give them definition. And that definition is not just physiologically, it plays out for us in physiology, but it starts spiritually. Listen to me. And I'm saying this because it changed my life. And I hope that I say something here. Admittedly, that in my failures, in my ambition, in my drive, I missed defining moments, and I missed definition with my own kids. Let me go back. So spiritually, how does that play out physiologically? This is how it plays out. Genesis chapter number 1, right? In Genesis chapter number 1, that's where we see God defining, right? Jesus calls him Abba, our Father, right? So we see the Father defining. First mention, right? Law first mention. The first thing you see God doing is what? Defining, not speaking, because we like to do the speaking thing, but we see him defining. He gives definition for function. Okay, Genesis chapter number 1, I think like verse number 3, it says, and God said, let there be light. In our preaching and our teaching, we make it sound like light was over here in the corner somewhere just waiting for its time to be called into fruition. No. In great Hebraic phrasing, it's more so that because there was nothing, that means that there was no light, no nothing. There was just nothingness, which means that when God said, let there be light, when he said the word light, he gave a word, he gave a definition, and he gave function. And then it materialized. One more time. Gave a word that had a definition, that had function, and then it materialized. He gave definition. So all of a sudden, out of nothingness, he spoke a definition, and that definition came into fruition, and then it started to function. Now, follow me. From there, then God says what? Genesis chapter number 1, verse number 26. Then he says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, and an image of likeness of God. He created he them, what? Male and female. Before you get off into dominion, image and likeness. So that means he makes man. Go to Genesis chapter number 2. So when he forms man out of the dust of the earth, right around, I think it's like 2:19, maybe somewhere around there. He forms man out of the dust of the earth, but watch what he does with man. Man's first job wasn't even to till the ground. He brought the animals to Adam to what? To see what he would define them as, to see what he would name them. The word name there, or to call there, either name or call, depending on your translation. In the Hebrew, it means to use a word that accosts them. It arrests them, right? So he defines them, and that definition, what? It arrests them. It accosts them. It holds them, right? And it doesn't just hold them, it holds them together. It gives them purpose. It gives them meaning, right? It accosts them, right? It grabs them, holds them, won't let them go, right? So that means that if God defines everything in the universe, then man has to define everything, what? That's in his purview. That means our first job is to be definers, to give our children definition. And then when they would, right, train a child in the way they should go, when they get old, they won't depart. Why won't they depart? Is because whatever I'm not training them to be anything other than what's been defined. I hold them to their definition. When my daughter Corinne's gonna kill me when I when I tell this story. My daughter Corinne, she would go to school, and she was little, and when she would go to school, she'd get in trouble sometimes. And when she got in trouble, I'd bring her home. And when she got home, I said, tell me what happened. And she's, what the kids was doing. And then she'd give me, I said, what's your name? And she said, Corinne. I said, no. What's your name? Corinne Aaliyah Davis. What's your name? Corinne Aaliyah Davis. She started crying. What's your name? Corinne Aaliyah Davis. I said, does Corinne Aaliyah Davis sound like Stacy Smith? No. Does Corinne Aaliyah Davis sound like Jamar, whatever? No. I said, then that means that you have to maintain who you are. Hold on to your definition. Regardless of what they're doing around you, you have already been defined and you're not them. I made her remember her definition. Her name held her definition. She's a Davis. That means something, right? And so while we are out here with ambition towards provision, I'm going to ask every father to take this next cycle of Father's Days between now and next Father's Day. Do me a favor. Do us a favor. Let's do this together. Let's take time moving from ambition towards provision, towards definition, towards function. Let's start defining our children. As we define our children, then our children define our legacy. So That's all I wanted to get on and say today. But again, to all the fathers, happy Father's Day, whether you are a godfather, grandfather, a father, naturally or spiritually. Happy Father's Day. And again, let's move from ambition and provision. Let's move now to definition towards function.